Wednesday morning, there's a new Reuters report revealing that 25 House Democrats are preparing to call on President Biden, write him a letter, drop out of the race if he appears shaky in the coming days. And even some of the biggest names to endorse the president in 2020 think that his path to a second term is unwinnable.
I think the Democrats would lose the House and the Senate as well as the White House if Joe Biden was at the top of the ticket. It's one reason why I believe the right thing for him to do is to step aside.
We heard that. We called him up. Andrew Yang debated Joe Biden when he ran for the Democratic nomination in 2020 and eventually endorsed him. And he joins us right now. Andrew, good morning to you.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
The guy you debated, the Joe Biden you debated back in 2020, where'd that guy go? Because I saw Thursday, and that wasn't him.
I agree. I debated Joe 7 times in 2020, and the last several years have taken a very clear toll. It's why I believe Joe Biden should do the right thing by the party and the country and step aside as the Democratic nominee. He said himself he wanted to be a bridge to the next generation. Now is that time.
Well, Andrew, you know, the White House and the campaign team, they say, you know, regardless of what happened, they're telling the donors that the race is unchanged, the polls are flat. Apparently that is not completely accurate, but they're circling the wagon around Joe. There are a number of Democrats, though, high-ranking Democrats who say, you know what, he can't beat Trump, so let's go to Plan B. What's your Plan B for Joe?
I think that the Democratic Party has a lot of talent. I think there are reasonable governors around the country. By the way, I think he's meeting with a number of those governors today.
He is.
Lloyd Doggett, a member of Congress from Texas, already publicly came out and said that Joe should step aside as the Democratic nominee. And I think that there are going to be many other voices joining him. I feel like a dam is about to break, and you're going to see more people go public in the coming days.
Somebody who was public over the last 6 months or so, Dean Phillips of Minnesota, who ran against Joe Biden. Of course, he eventually had to drop out because Joe got so many more delegates. I think Dean Phillips has 4. But you supported him. But he was right, and he is owed an apology by a lot of people in the mainstream media and the Democratic Party because he was saying Joe Biden of 2024 is not the same guy who debated Andrew Yang.
I'm so glad that you raised that. Dean Phillips staked his career, and so many people took pot shots at him, and now he's been proven right. I hope that people recognize the sacrifices that Dean made to make this case that now millions of Americans can see to be true with our own eyes. Dean stood up for his principles in the face of his party, and now there are many other people who are going to be joining him after the fact. I wish that this had come out 5-6 months earlier.
Yeah, no kidding. I think there are a lot of Democrats who feel exactly the same way as you, Andrew. Ultimately, though, let's fast forward to the convention. Is Joe Biden going to be their nominee, your nominee?
I think it's going to be an open convention. I think you're going to see folks like Andy Beshear of Kentucky, Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, all contending. And I think that's good. I think that's healthy for democracy. The fact is a majority of voters were concerned about Joe before the debate. Now it's a clear majority. And he talks about defending democracy. I think democracy would have been better served if we'd had a real primary. But a contested convention, at least, is still much better than a coronation of a candidate that, in this case, is best served by following George Washington's example and stepping aside for the good of the country.
That's right. Andrew Yang, sir, thank you very much for joining us on this 3rd day of July.
Happy pre-4th to you all.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.